Nonsense talking, top rope walking, ultimate exit, serious flexing. Never be vague with your boy Craig. And opinion mixing from Pete to Nixon. Keep doing things in an impactful way. Bloody nonsense, as the Brits say. Talking bloody nonsense.
Yes, it's me. It's the MIC Craig, aka Mr. Impact. Joined as always by the one and only Peter Nixon. It's a new week, it's a new Impact, but first things first. Nixon, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks, Craig. I'm really sorry for missing last week. After getting back from Spain, we were both suffering from the old COVID. First time getting it, so I think we did pretty well. It lasted this long, but yeah, it for the first few days it kind of knocked me for six, so it wouldn't have been a pleasant sight if I'd have recorded last week.
Well, I'm on the mend now. That's the important thing. Yeah, COVID. It's a pain in the ass, but I've had it once. I had the OG COVID.
Oh, original gangster.
Yeah, but it's been a interesting couple of weeks over here in the UK.
A bit, yeah. I swear, every time I go to Spain, something happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time I was there, it was in 2013, and in that week that we were there, you had the Boston Marathon bombing, and Margaret Thatcher died. And we were there for 4 days, and the Queen died. So I'm just not going back to Spain. Yeah. It's just not worth it.
Nah, just stay home. Yeah, it's been a weird one, but we're not here to talk about this crazy world we're living in. We're here to talk some Impact Wrestling. I guess without any further ado, we should get into it with our main headline for this evening. As announced on last week's Impact Wrestling, first of all, taking on Speedball Mike Bailey at Victory Road, which we'll get into in a bit more detail later on, is former Ring of Honor star Delirious. And also, say his name and he'll appear. Joe Hendry is back in Impact Wrestling, and as far as I'm aware, Joe Hendry is officially signed. Delirious, I believe, is officially signed. There's no word on that, but there's been a lot of talk about that. Yeah, it's two really, really good signings. Joe Hendry is someone I've wanted back in Impact for quite some time. You know, he's really managed to reinvent his character. He's bulked up massively, but still got a good, strong character and is a great wrestler. But what's your take on Joe Hendry and Delirious coming in? Because I'm not too familiar on Delirious myself. I know the name, I recognize the mask, but that's all I really know on Delirious. What's your take on these two signings?
So I'm very aware of both. I know the Joe Hendry signing has divided people. Personally, I'm a big fan. I think he has the world of ability and charisma, and if he can carry on doing his videos where he, takes the mick out of his opponents, then it sets him apart from everyone else in wrestling, and that's only a good thing. So I'm very happy that Joe Hendry is signed, and I know he was signed to Ring of Honor before that all happened. So he obviously wanted to make a break for it in the US, and Impact Wrestling, I think, because he's been there before, he had a nice little run, but I think if they're gonna take him seriously and use him in a heavyweight capacity, because he's a big old boy. He's not an X division wrestler. He is made for the heavyweight division.
Yes.
I think he's a fantastic signing. I can't wait to see, what he does straight off the bat. He's got to have a big match for Bound for Glory. Delirious. I've known Delirious since like 2005. He came into TNA for a small period of time, but then he was in Ring of Honor for most of his career, and he then became the booker for Ring of Honor, and that's a thankless job.
Yeah.
You know, he was the booker when, you know, in the glory days of Ring of Honor, when the Elite were there. So he's obviously got a good mind for the business. Such an underrated talent as well. Really, really entertaining wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
Are you still there? Sorry, my
Yeah.
Skype froze. Yeah, you're good.
Oh, here. So here.
Wicked. Yeah, if you want to see what Delirious is capable of in the ring, you need to see some of his stuff with CM Punk from IWA Mid South. I'm sure all the matches are on YouTube, but they went
Yeah.
in CM Punk's last match in IWA Mid South before going to WWE in 2005. He had an hour-long match with Delirious, and it was all comedy. It was
Yeah. Okay.
It's the funniest stuff you'll see in wrestling. Absolutely outstanding stuff. Yeah, Delirious, really talented, and I suspect if he's not just being brought in as a talent, he will be a great addition to the booking committee.
Wow. So, certainly have to go check Delirious out. So I'm not overly familiar with him, but I mean that stuff with the Elite and Ring of Honor. Without that, there wouldn't be AEW. There wouldn't be half the stuff as now. But I'm intrigued to see what he can do. It's going to be a great match. Speedwalk, no matter what, for the X Division Championship. But onto Joe Hendry. It's interesting because almost 4 years to the date was Joe Hendry's last match in Impact Wrestling here in the UK as Impact Wrestling talent. And I know there's a lot of visa issues when he was doing his first run, hence why he didn't appear on stateside shows. It was only Canada and Mexico he was appeared on. But when he came in, that was some good stuff with him and Grado and Katarina Lee. Some great stuff. Joe Hendry is very entertaining. And maybe it's a British sense of humor, but it's intriguing to see why it doesn't really translate that well in the States. It's crazy to me. If Joe Hendry posted a lot of his songs to YouTube, and he recently did one for Scotty Too Hotty, which was hilarious. The tune "Live on a Prayer," incredible. Joe Hendry is a talent. If you haven't seen a lot of Joe Hendry, go watch his match against Kurt Angle from WCPW. What a banger! It must be on YouTube. It's easy to find. It's a banger. Or go check out any of his stuff from ICW. I'm pretty sure if you've got the W Network, you can watch ICW and you can check out the stuff they've done. He's a big talent. Yeah, I understand there's a lot of people not so convinced because of his running Impact, I guess. But he was there for a cup of coffee. Didn't get as much time as he needed, which, visa issues, that's a whole other thing. Which it's a fresh start. Joe Hendry he can go. Impact sign the best wrestlers in the world. There's a reason they do. And there's a reason Joe Hendry has been signed. Yeah, he may come across as a comedy guy, but just wait till he's in the ring. Because what a talent. Also, shout out to Ashley Vega, who's in that promo for Joe Hendry as well. It's very cool seeing more British talent on Impact TV, even though she won't be involved in Impact. It's still a cool moment. But yeah, it's I'm especially excited for Joe Hendry. Delirious, I'm intrigued, more than excited, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not overly familiar with what he can do. But it should be a good one. But I agree, Joe Hendry needs a big match at Battle for Glory to show everyone what he's capable of. You can go if you like I said, you can go check out all of his stuff. Especially, I really can't recommend his match against Kurt Angle enough. Joe Hendry was Kurt Angle at WCPW. Just a belter of matches. Just after Angle left Impact TNA and was just about to head back to WWE for the Hall of Fame. It was during that period, and I can't recommend it enough. Kurt Angle's put over Joe Hendry many times, and rightfully so. It's a banging match. So just give Joe Hendry a chance, because he was funny during his running Impact last time. And I know, again, I think like another issue, I guess, was with Grado. I know he didn't translate very well in the States either. I mean, that could have been where people have got that from, but it was still a very fun time.
Yeah, again, Grado, I absolutely love him. I know some people can't stick him, but I thought, wrestling ability aside, what an entertaining bloke.
Yeah.
I'd love to have met him and just shot the shit with him, because I bet he's a great fella.
Oh yeah, you can tell that by if you listen to his podcast, you can see that he knows his stuff. Just because his character is one thing. Grado, I mean, you saw the reaction he got at on British Boot Camp and at the show at the Hydro. His match against Al Snow. So I think I can't remember or not whether Grado won that match, but I think he did.
Yeah.
And then the BDC attacked, and then Drew Galloway made his debut. Yeah. So when you hear the reaction, I get it was in his hometown, but home country. No, don't make your opinion of Joe Hendry up off what you saw from him in his running Impact last, 4 years ago. He's changed a lot. He's done really well.
Absolutely. When that venue aired, because I had no idea. I didn't see any spoilers. No. I didn't see any announcements on Twitter or anything. I did not know Joe Hendry was coming back to Impact. When I saw that vignette start airing with the chair flying across the room, obviously nudge nudge, wink wink, and I saw Joe Hendry's face pop up, I marked out. It was a cool moment for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited to see what he does in this run with Impact.
Yeah, I've seen that promo package like 10 or 11 times. It just since it's aired, and the song has been in my head since. So that's always good. But yeah, Joe Hendry and Delirious, two new signings for Impact Wrestling. Speaking of new signings, this time in the backstage area for Impact. In charge of basically company's PR and making and booking, basically selling the shows essentially. Lou D'Angeli, but a few old heads probably know him as Sign Guy Dudley. Yeah, also worked for WWE as you mentioned, basically doing what he does now, but for WWE in Impact now. Working for Cirque du Soleil, again doing the same thing. I mean, this is a big thing for Impact. This has been where they've been lacking. One of the places they've been lacking for many years, promoting the shows. Right. They've Impact's PR, whatever you want to call it, hasn't been great since the beginning, essentially. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with his work in terms of the business side of stuff, but again, Delirious is a big thing for Impact. That's something that needed to be done a long time ago.
100%. I think it's a fantastic signing. I know Lou D'Angeli from when he was signed Guy Dudley and when he was Lou E. Dangerously as part of the new Dangerous Alliance in ECW, which was very entertaining. Short-lived, unfortunately, because ECW folded about a year after. But yeah, it is something that Impact has struggled with, is promoting. You know, it's all well and good booking a venue and saying on your TV, oh, we're going to be here in 2 weeks' time, and announcing the matches on Twitter. But it has to be more than that. You know, the people in that market need to know the Impact is in town. Wrestling fans need to know, and there's so many ways of doing that. I remember when GCW ran Hammerstein Ballroom, I think it was last year, might have been earlier this year, I can't remember, but you couldn't move. I'm sure you'll remember this, Craig. You couldn't move on YouTube, Facebook for adverts for this show. Every wrestling fan, WWE, Impact, AEW, whoever, knew this show was happening. And, you know, because I knew it was happening, I bought the show and it was okay, but I knew it was on. And that's what Impact needs to focus on, it, because WWE and AEW are very good at promoting their shows, you know, in their local markets. They always have big houses.
Yes.
That's where Impact needs to step it up. I mean, I think the smaller, intimate venues work for Impact, and they always have a hot crowd.
Yeah.
But you know they can do better because the product is so good. You know, it's comparable to WWE and AEW, match quality wise, entertainment value wise. Yeah. So yeah, I think Lou D'Angeli will help out Impact immensely.
Yeah, it's you know, like I said, this has been a problem for Impact from almost day one. The weekly pay-per-views, you know, they did well because they were advertised on TV. But then you get to, when it comes to TNA, almost every pay-per-view, they didn't show one side of the crowd because there was no one there. Maybe a few people died here and there. And it just wasn't a good look. Like I mentioned with GCW, even AEW now and WWE, like, they put these adverts everywhere. If you have a fight account, which I'm pretty sure most wrestling fans do now, you get the adverts through YouTube because of it. You get the adverts on social media, and to be fair, social media, you can sell a show through social media. You can do it, but it doesn't work 100% of the time. It's not saying it hasn't worked, because you can go to Bound for Glory's 2018, I think it was the last one. No, 2020. I believe it was in Chicago, if I remember rightly.
2019.
2019.
The Odeon, they had about 3,000 there.
Yeah, and that was a sellout, and that was pretty much through social media. Although Impact did do a lot more media days than I noticed for that, which again hasn't happened as often. It is difficult. Obviously, we're not involved in the company. We don't know what they're doing, but clearly it hasn't been enough. When you can, because the crowds are usually at capacity, but they're never sold out for the. You can Impact aren't going to have nobody there, but there could be a lot more there. And not to say they're not trying. Obviously, they have the street teams in every state they go to. That's, I guess it helps, but it doesn't help that much because people, it's volunteer based, and unless they're an Impact fan, I don't necessarily want to do it. I mean, obviously Jeff, obviously fortunate to be going to Bound for Glory this year. He lives in Albany. It shows in Albany. Obviously, he lives not in Albany, and so he finds it difficult to do the street team thing. I don't know this one because it is such a difficult one, but I'm hoping Hendry can do something because I'm not sure what else has been happening because this product, like you said, arguably the most consistent weekly product, consistently great weekly product in wrestling right now. On TV, YouTube, whatever you want to say. If you're watching a wrestling show on a screen, it's the most consistently best product that's been put out each week. You look at this week's, you've got Jordan Grace versus Zicky Dice. That's just going to be fun. You have a ladder match for Digital Media Championship. You've got a 6-person tag of people in the Triple Threat Revolver. I can't speak today. Don't know why. But, I'm glad this is finally happening, but I don't want it to be a case of too little, too late. Which I have seen some people say that it is, but I guess it's never too late to make some improvements in something that's been lacking for years. Any improvement is an improvement, especially when it comes to this side of Impact. Impact have clearly looked at TV, and they held internal meetings a couple of weeks ago about the lack of low TV ratings, and now they make this announcement of Hendry coming in to help be a part of the PR and everything that's in the advertising and all of that, which has been a long time coming. So the social media is a great tool, and Impact have that tool, especially YouTube. Second most subscribers for a wrestling channel on YouTube. Obviously, WWE are miles ahead, but Impact still have over 4 million subscribers.
It's because they were on YouTube from day one. They were the first company to embrace the YouTube, product.
Yeah. I remember first time I was watching anything to do with TNA Impact, I saw on YouTube. It was There's Eric Bischoff trying to shave Mick Foley's head.
Right.
Yeah, and that was my first look at TNA. Didn't know what it was because I was watching old clips of WWE, and then obviously Eric Bischoff and Mick Foley pop up. Well, okay, I think that's obviously another WWE clip. Nope, looked completely different. TNA. I was into it. I found it on Challenge TV a few days later, and started watching and watched for 10 years. So that's obviously that is a good tool to have, but not everyone's going to follow that path. So hopefully this new backstage signing can do some good, because it's needed it.
Yeah.
The product hasn't, but the business side of it has.
Exactly.
But I'm hopeful, because you have to be as an Impact fan. You've got to be hopeful.
Yeah, I don't think the company is in any specific trouble.
No.
But it's just, when you're a fan of the product and you have been for so long, you feel like, the company deserves better.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's we know how good it is because we watch regularly. Other people need to see how good the show is. People, no matter how much people tweet about it. I mean, I forget. Mark Madden tweeted about it a couple of weeks ago, and that got a lot of buzz.
Mm.
I mean, but the comments were 60-40 inside of TNA's crap, but it's still got people talking about Impact Wrestling. So it's, yeah, we know how good it is, and more people need to watch it, because it's, if you're a wrestling fan and you're not watching Impact, you're missing out.
Exactly. And word of mouth can only do so much. I remember Slammiversary 2018, the one with Pentagon versus Sami Callihan.
What a match.
Incredible pay-per-view. And I didn't get to see it till a couple of days later. But that Monday morning, after the pay-per-view, my Facebook was just lit up with people saying, what an incredible show.
Yeah.
People that I didn't know were Impact Wrestling fans. So, yeah, the quality of the show, word of mouth, it does work, but it will only work so much.
Yeah,
And,
it can only take you so far.
Yeah. Hopefully Lou D'Angeli can work his magic and get more people in the buildings, and get Impact Wrestling what the viewership they deserve.
Exactly, it's a killer product. If that's too much for Bound for Glory, but I'm always excited for Bound for Glory, but everyone needs to be at Bound for Glory. And I know the floor seats are all but sold out, minus a couple here and there. So
yeah, it's a nice venue, the Bound for Glory venue. It looks quite big. I think they can have about 1,800 in there, and then however many standing.
yeah.
So if they can sell all of those 1,800 tickets, it's a massive step in the right direction. And New York is the perfect market for that. New York,
Yes.
Chicago,
Oh yeah,
Philadelphia, big venue, big markets like that, where you can, where all the wrestling fans are, basically.
Bound for Glory 2018 in New York was, again, a great show, and the crowd were on fire, and they booed the crap out of James Ellsworth, and that's all I ever want.
Brilliant segment that was. I love that. I'm a big Eli Drake fan.
Yeah,
Bring him back.
You never know. I suppose. No, I love the New York fans, and Bound for Glory is going to be killer. So hopefully, this signing will do good, but it's more people need to watch it. Anywho, it feels like we've talked about this for about a year and a half, but it looks like it's officially happened. No word from the Good Brothers themselves or from Impact, but it seems like they've bookended it quite nicely. And after losing to the Motor City Machine Guns on this last week's Impact, rumors are going around. Their contract is done. The contract has officially run out, and they head back to New Japan next week. To Japan itself. Do you think this is it for the Good Brothers? Is it done? Can we officially say goodbye to the Good Brothers in Impact Wrestling as Impact signed talent?
I think we can. I don't think we have seen the last of the Good Brothers by any stretch. I think due to their affiliation with New Japan and of course, being big members of Bullet Club, they will pop up sporadically. But yeah, as far as on Impact TV every single week, no, I think they're done.
Yeah, I said we've talked about this for months and months and months, whether it's going to happen now, it's going to happen then, it's going to happen here. Yeah, it seemed like it has happened as Impact talent purely because the way the match against Machine Guns, whilst it was a good match, something felt off about the Good Brothers. I don't know what it was. Something didn't feel quite right. Maybe I was expecting them to lose. I didn't read any spoilers, but it kind of felt like, maybe it was me expecting them to lose, but something felt like it was coming to an end, which it is a shame in one sense, that because if we don't see them, we probably won't see them now for a few months. Which when you can go back and look at what the Good Brothers have done in this couple of years that they've been in Impact. Without them, this New Japan work relationship doesn't get off the ground. Without them, we don't get Kenny and Omega, which I'm not that bothered about, but it's fine. The whole thing with Kenny, I could go on and on about it, but it wasn't my thing. But then without that, Christian wouldn't have been Impact World Champion. We wouldn't have had Chris Bay wouldn't have been in Bullet Club. Ace Austin wouldn't be in Bullet Club. It's crazy to think how much the Good Brothers have given to Impact. Obviously, they're taking a fair amount of money, but to think of it basically been, they've really flew the Impact banner since they've been there. I don't think there's anything anyone can really disagree with that. They've obviously been tapping up AEW in the past. New Japan, they had talks with WWE, but apparently they went nowhere, which is hardly surprising. But yeah, I think this is it for now. It's very much a see down the road thing, and I don't know when we'll see them back. But like I said, without them, a lot doesn't happen.
100%. What they lack in ring, and that sounds awful because Carl Anderson is fantastic. Gallows is very entertaining. Their matches, some have been great, some a little bit lackluster, but that's just the Good Brothers. That's not to do with any of their opponents.
No.
That's how they were in WWE. That's how they are in New Japan. They, say what you will about the Good Brothers, they brought eyes to the product, and through their affiliations, with New Japan, we got Kenny Omega, we got we got so much cool stuff thanks to the Good Brothers and their affiliations, relationships elsewhere. Like you said, maybe New Japan and Impact aren't working together if the Good Brothers don't come to Impact. I'm sure it would have worked out through Scott D'Amore, Rocky Romero, eventually, but I think the Good Brothers help speed that one along.
Yeah, it wouldn't be happening right now.
Like you said, it's not goodbye, it's see you down the road. And thank you, Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, for the last 1 year or 2 years. 2 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2 and a bit, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your service. And I'm sure we'll see you, you know, when you're back.
Yeah, it is because they were the tag division for a couple months, and they did bring a lot of eyes to Impact when everyone was released, and obviously a Slammiversary, everyone who was released showed up, and the Good Brothers showing up helped sell a lot more pay-per-views for Slammiversary because they knew they were coming because they announced it, and that did it wonders in front of no crowd. Like, I mean, you can go back and like when that happened, everyone was tweeting about it from other companies. I believe Natalia even watched that. Watched Slammiversary because she mentioned the Good Brothers. Like, it was this what they've done for Impact is huge, and now it must have gotten to that place now of Impact where they can carry on what the Good Brothers were doing, keep that going, and because they have a better reputation now, and not just TNA who won't pay you. They're Impact who can prove they can pay big money for big stars. Because obviously we don't know how much we're getting paid, but we got a pretty good idea it was a big amount for the Good Brothers, which is why I'm guessing a lot of people got released or wasn't renewed. I reckon that took a lot of the budget.
Yeah, from what I understand, the Good Brothers were not on the chopping block until Paul Heyman pointed out how much they were both earning.
Yeah,
and that was the catalyst for them being released, which I think AJ Styles was not happy about. But WWE's loss was Impact's gain for 2 years.
Yeah, and it's done great things for Impact, undeniably great things. And now we have that relationship with Rocky Romero, which of course now includes New Japan, which it's a big deal. We have Yuya Uemura on his excursion tour. Impact of New Japan are trusting Impact fully with making sure Yuya gets to show what he can do and develop well.
Yeah, Yuya Uemura and Konosuke Takeshita have regularly been referred to as the future of Japanese wrestling, and that is huge. You know, to have Yuya Uemura in the early stages of his career in Impact Wrestling, you know, we'll be able to show this footage in the next 20 years when he's the biggest star in the world, when he's the new, you know, Hiroshi Tanahashi, for example.
Yeah, that kid's got some talent. His match with Kenny King was so good, and I like the introduction by me. But I guess we'll get into more on that in a minute. Yeah, I guess, like I said, thanks to the Good Brothers because they've done a lot in their 2 years. Yeah, like I said, the matches, some were really good, some were good. And it's not a slight on them, it was just what it was. It's good that it happened because that's that Good Brothers signing was a catalyst for a lot of good things happening with Impact Wrestling and signing a lot of great talent maybe Impact wouldn't have looked at without the little nudge from the Good Brothers. So I know a lot of people weren't happy with them, but hey, 2 years, 3 World Tag Team titles, a Bullet Club reunion,
the fact is, without the Good Brothers, we don't have W. Morrissey's awesome run.
So good.
He was fantastic in his however long 9 months in Impact.
Yeah,
And now
about
he's gone to AEW, and so his career has been totally revitalized because of a recommendation from Luke Gallows.
that. Yeah. They like I said, they were a catalyst for a lot of good things happening. Yes, I know a lot of people didn't like them. I sort of dwindled, but the things they've done for Impact are going to continue because people realize through them Impact is the place to be. If you want to be made into a star, you go through Impact. Mick Foley said it himself. A lot of the top guys in WWE now were top guys in TNA. And without that, WWE wouldn't have seen them, WWE wouldn't have signed them, and you wouldn't have those guys.
Exactly. Just look at AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. TNA signing them, putting eyes on them, gave them opportunities to go on and make a ton of money in WWE.
Yeah, exactly. And making money isn't bad, is it? So those are the headlines for this episode. Okay, we're still the final 10, but even though it's 20 minutes to go, we'll still call it the final 10.
Yeah.
And this Friday, these specials are coming around fast. We have Victory Road.
Do you think maybe we should send it over to Datia with the power rankings?
Yeah, we can do. Can throw over the power rankings very quickly. Agree, disagree, let us know. Follow the tier and Bert if you want to join the power rankings committee, and we'll get you in there. What you got to do, once you watch Impact, drop in get your rankings in before Sunday to have them count, and give us your top 10 wrestlers featured on Impact that week. I guess it's time for those power rankings.
Number 10, DMC Brian Myers. Number 9, Thank You the Good Brothers. Number 8, DK. Number 7, The Last Rodeo Mickey James. Number 6, Killer Kelly. Number 5, World Champion Jordan Grace. Number 4, Tag Champions Honor No More. Number 3, World Champion Josh Alexander. Number 2, X Division Champion Mike Bailey. Number 1, Sabin and Shelly, the Motor City Machine Guns.
And now we are back. And now it's time for the final 10. 5 there. So Victory Road this Friday, which Saturday morning here in the UK. The card is a very, very good card. We have the return of the Triple Threat Revolver to crown the number one contender for the X Division Championship at Bound for Glory. In that Triple Threat Revolver, from Impact we have Kenny King, Trey Miguel, and Mia Yim. From Triple A, you have Black Taurus and Laredo Kid. From New Japan, you have Alex Zane and Yuya Uemura. And from AW, it's Frankie Kazarian. Return of Frankie Kazarian. Mickey James takes on Giselle Shaw in the last rodeo. Speedball Mike Bailey takes on Delirious for the X Division Championship. Eddie Edwards and Honor More OGK take on World Champion Josh Alexander, Rich Swann, and the Red-Headed Rebel Heath. Jordan Grace has had a poison picked by Marshall Slamovich, and it is the non-binary nightmare Max the Impaler holy shirtballs. And which should be the main event. It's Sammy Callahan versus Moose versus Macklin in Barbed Wire Massacre 5. I mean, where to start on that card? I think it starts Jordan Grace versus Maxine Taylor. They are gonna beat the living hell out of each other.
It's a wonderful match to showcase Jordan Grace, and a great debut for Maxi Impaler. I think this is going to be outstanding. You know, it's a great showcase for Jordan, and sets her up perfectly for Masha Slamovich at Bound for Glory.
Yeah,
I better write our predictions down.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, obviously the match, the graphic was revealed, but it didn't feature Max. Now it does because they're going to be facing Jordan Grace, and I cannot wait for it. It's going to be it's potentially going to be a horse fight.
Mm-hmm.
And Max has been on such a great run the last couple of years. They've smashed it. I was lucky enough to be at Wrestle Carnival, the Hunt, when Max took on Charles Crowley, and in person, TV does not do them justice. In person, I was sat second row, and Crowley was trying to escape through the crowd, and Max was looking at my section of chairs and shouted, "Move!" And we all got the hell out of the way. No waiting around. We stood up and just moved because they are. I'm glad that they're getting to be seen on by the Impact audience if they haven't been. I mean, they must have been already, but getting because Impact, I don't know. I don't know how many people watch Impact on a weekly basis because ratings don't matter, but it's still quite a lot of people watching this show. And yeah, this is the perfect match to set up the match coming up Bound for Glory. But I've still got to go with the champ. I've got to go with Jordan Grace.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no way Jordan loses on the victory road to Bound for Glory.
No.
She's the Knockouts champion. She needs to stay strong going into the match against Masha Slamovich, where, let's face it, anything can happen.
Yeah. I'm super excited to see Max and Impact. But unless there's some shenanigans here, Jordan Grace wins. So next we'll go up to the triple threat revolver because I think this could take some time to decide a winner for this one. I said it's Kenny King, Trey Miguel, Mia Yim, Black Taurus, Laredo Kid, Alex Zane, Yuya Uemura, and Kazarian. First of all, I'm glad this match is back because I really enjoyed it the first time around. It's very, very unique because it starts a triple threat. Someone gets eliminated, someone else replaces them until it's down to 3, and it's one-on-one pinfall. Bosh, winner goes on to Bound for Glory. First of all, any combination of this match is going to be a banger. No matter what combination they go with, it's going to be banger. It's essentially going to be 3 banging triple threats. And can't wait for it. 3 triple threats. So who can you see coming out of this one? Because I can't call it in my life.
I've got a hot take on this. My man Alex Zane is right now, the best multi-man match wrestler in the world. I think if the match starts with Alex Zane and finishes with Alex Zane, this match could be match of the year. You know, I think it's going to steal the show, 100%.
Yeah.
I would love to see Alex Zane win it, but I think they want a big X Division title match for Bound for Glory. So my money is on Kazarian to win the match.
Yeah, I could see that. However, I think, given it's Bound for Glory, and we're gonna get the straight up singles between Eddie and Josh and Jordan and Asha. I think Mia Yim wins this one. I got a feeling they're going to go with Mia Yim.
Okay.
Yeah, something about it is telling me Mia Yim is going to challenge for the X Division Championship at Bound for Glory.
I'm here for it.
I'm hoping I'm right.
I'd love to see it. I mean, anyone who walks out of this match and into match with Speedball Mike Bailey, you know the match is going to be fantastic. Any single one of these wrestlers. I'm still disappointed we're not going to see Speedball versus Bandido at Bound for Glory. I had my heart set on that. Maybe they'll get to it at some point.
Have to.
Yeah, any one of these guys, you know, Speedball versus Taurus or Speedball versus Kenny King again. You know, that match was fantastic a couple of weeks ago. So there's no wrong answer here.
No.
But yeah, I'm sticking with Kazarian, but I like your pick too. I think Speedball versus Mia Yim would be tremendous.
See, should we throw in a little bonus prediction and who we're going to think will be in the final triple threat, final three? Who do you think it comes down to? So I fully believe. Well, I think I can see it being Trey, Mia, and Yuya. I think they want to push Yuya as much as they can without him actually winning. Trey kind of needs to be in that conversation of could he go Bound for Glory again, and of course they want Mia to win. I think Trey, Mia, and Yuya. I think those three will be the final three at this Revolver match.
So there's only one villain in the match, isn't there? That's Kenny King.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be in the final three, and he needs. If Mia Yim doesn't win it, Kenny King needs to be the person to eliminate Mia Yim, because think of the heat.
Yeah.
If Kazarian goes over Mia Yim, for example, then he's a bit of a dick, isn't he? He gets a bit of heel heat. So it needs to be Kenny King that eliminates Mia Yim. So I'll go with Kenny King, Kazarian, and Alex Zane as the final three. I best write these down.
Yeah. I mean, we just described a triple threat that I would happily see on Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
That's the backseat thing. Those triple threats I would happily see a Bound for Glory just for the sake of it. There's some bangers in this, but
so you went Mia Yim, Yuya Uemura,
and Trey Miguel.
And Trey. Lovely.
So next up we have the last rodeo of Mickie James as she takes on Giselle Shaw. But will it be the last rodeo? I say not. Mickie James is going to win this one. It would be a great match, but there's no way Mickie James is going to lose at Victory Road.
100%. It's a big opportunity for Giselle Shaw. big
Oh,
match
yeah.
for her on a big stage. So, yeah, I think the match will be tremendous, and I think both women will bring their working boots. But yeah, Mickie James wins all day long. There's no way she loses in this early stage of her last run.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen after Victory Road, but it does not happen there.
No.
That it's just, they're not going to give it away at Victory Road when they could do it at one of the big three.
Exactly.
Mickie James is absolutely going with this one. Saying that, watch her lose now.
Oh, that would be disappointing, wouldn't it?
That will get a bad reaction for saying that everything gets a bad reaction now.
Well, Giselle Shaw would be made for life, but I don't think that's the total intention of this match.
Yeah, I mean, just
both
as a heel, imagine that.
Yeah, Giselle Shaw comes out a bigger star anyway.
Yeah.
You know, in defeat or victory, but yeah, you know, they want a big opponent and situation for Mickie James' last match.
Yeah,
and it's not at Victory Road.
No, it's gonna be a great match, but no, it does not happen now.
Hard to Kill, maybe. Slammiversary, maybe. Bound for Glory next year, maybe, but not Victory Road 2022.
Nah, but I don't. After Victory Road, I don't see Mickie James making it to the Knockouts World Title match. I don't think it's a title opportunity. I think she'll lose to someone along the way. Maybe not out of nowhere, but I think Mickie loses before she gets to the Knockouts title match.
Oh, that's tough. I think she does make it to the title match, but who's going to be the champion?
Exactly.
Mickie James versus Masha Slamovich would be a hell of a match, hell of a last match, and what a way to, give Masha Slamovich a big boost.
Yeah, that was strap a rocket to her back, no problem.
Exactly.
But now we go on to 6-man tag, including Honor No More, as Eddie Edwards and the World Tag Team Champions OGK, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett take on the Impact World Champion Josh Alexander, Rich Swann, and Heath. I can't call this one. I imagine I know who you're going to go with, but what's see happen in this match? Do you think there's some sort of turn by someone, or do you think it's going to be just a straight up 6-person tag and someone who's the winner?
I don't think there'll be a turn, but I can't see Josh and Heath coexisting.
No.
And Eddie and OGK are a developed, gelling unit. So yeah, I think there's a slip up somewhere between Josh and Heath. They're fighting. Rich is trying to separate them. Rich gets hit with something and Rich takes the fall.
Yeah.
Honor No More over.
Yeah, it's that age-old question, isn't it? Can they coexist? No, Eddie and OGK are going to win. There's no doubt in my mind on this one. I suppose it was that chance. But I think that way for Bound for Glory to do this, because I've come onto your way of thinking about this. I think PCO cost Eddie the world title.
Oh, okay.
So but that's why I think Eddie and OGK are going to win this one. And then Eddie loses at the pay-per-view at Bound for Glory. So Extreme Championship. Speedball Mike Bailey, the Extreme Champion, takes on Delirious in his debut match. It's Speedball all day long, surely.
Yeah, it would be. Oh, COVID. It would be a turn up for the books if Delirious came back to Impact after all these years, and just randomly defeat Speedball Mike Bailey for the X Division Championship.
Right.
Stranger things have happened, but I don't think this strange thing is going to happen at Victory Road on Friday.
No,
Speedball retains.
100%. Speedball Bailey is and still X Division champion. Now, again, I'm guessing this has to be the main event. It's either got to open or close the show. But my bet is closing. It's Sami Callihan versus Moose versus Steve Macklin. Barbara Massacre 5. And I'm going to go with Sami Callihan with a little help.
From whom?
I'll maybe again will soon be the AEW World Champion. Maybe. But I think this is where John Moxley pops up.
Come on. I called it months ago.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Moxley at Victory Road. But I think it's too soon. It will be too soon after Arthur Ashe, the Grand Slam. My, I'm going into a long sort of prediction here. So, obviously, we're recording on Tuesday. It's Dynamite tomorrow for us. I think Moxley. If you're watching this on Thursday now, I think last night on Dynamite, Moxley defeated Danielson for the world title, but then MJF cashed in his chip, and I think right now MJF is the world champion.
Oh.
Since Victory Road is on Friday, Rampage is taped, so theoretically Moxley could be at Victory Road in Nashville. Where is it? It's not Nashville, is it?
Yeah, it's
Skyway.
Yeah, the Skyway Studios back in Skyway.
I think Moxley could be at Nashville, but I don't think he will be. I think if they're going to bring him in for a tag match at Bound for Glory, he'll rock up at the tapings, maybe in Las Vegas. I think they live out there. I want to say they live in Vegas. I might be wrong. I'm going with Steve Macklin to win Barbed Wire Massacre.
Okay.
And I think we know Macklin and Moose are a pair, but just for the purpose of taking down Sami Callihan, they don't like each other. So Macklin, maybe he steals the pin off of Moose, like on Sami Callihan. But yeah, I think it'll be a big win for Macklin and momentum for those two as a pair. And I don't think Callihan loses anything. I don't think he loses any heat, like losing Barbed Wire Massacre. So yeah, that is my prediction. Macklin over MJF as the world champion after beating Moxley on Dynamite.
See, now I've just said that about Sami. I'm looking at the records for Barbed Wire Massacre. Sami Callihan has so far been in 2 and lost 2. No, this is his time. I'm going with Sami Callihan to win. I'm sticking with Sami.
I've locked it.
Third time's a charm.
Okay. It's done. You can't go back.
It's fine. And so it is written. And so it shall be. But with that, I guess we shall call this a podcast. This has been a podcast. I've been the MIC. This has been Nixon, and I'll continue to be Nixon. Of course, you can follow us here, there, everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you podcast. Until next time, goodbye, my friends.